I know many of you may be wondering, how can I become a better version of myself? Well, let me assure you that this is a constant journey we're all on, including myself, so don't feel as if you are alone. It's a totally normal feeling to want to improve your life and change your circumstances so you can build a life you enjoy. But unfortunately, it's not a linear process, and it can be quite difficult at times, as I am sure a lot of you may have experienced. And as a result, a lot of people unfortunately have given up on pursuing their goals and even bettering themselves as people. However, that doesn't have to be your story, because with the right mindset and systems in place, you can put yourself in a position whereby you're improving yourself every single day, even if it is just by 1%. And for those of you who don't know, by improving yourself 1% each day, in 1 year you can become around 38% better, which is a lot and quite inspiring. So don't worry, I got you. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you practical methods that you can start incorporating into your life, giving you a solid foundation where you can then start to acquire more skills and carve your own future. Before we begin though, it's important to know that we're about to embark on a journey of self-improvement, which is a very dynamic process, and meaning that you will experience highs and lows in your daily life. It's not really spoken about much, so I want you to understand that this is completely normal. Don't expect yourself to be at 100% every single day in all aspects, because that's unrealistic. For sure, you do want to be consistent with the methods, but appreciate that every single day is different and things are always subject to change. Some days will be good and some will be bad. It's completely normal. Don't fall victim to the content you see on places like social media, because they're full of distractions and they only give you the illusion that others are constantly living their best life, when in reality it could be the total opposite. You will never know the truth, and that's exactly what people want to hide a lot of times on social media. So instead, I want you to focus your energy on the things that are most important to you and bring you fulfillment. Don't worry too much about what other people are doing. Now that we're ready, let's delve into the first practical step, which is building positive habits. I want to break this one down because it does seem a bit vague, so let me start by giving you an example. So assume you structure your day by utilizing a timetable of some sort, and you fit in everything you want to achieve in that day. But there are some habits that are preventing you from achieving them, such as it could be, you're scrolling through your phone so much, you're spending a lot of time with other people and not enough time on your work, or you could just be watching, Netflix or TV shows. So I want you to ask yourself this question: how can I replace these habits with ones that are going to benefit me? So if you're someone who uses their phone as soon as they wake up, unless it's to turn your alarm off, how about using that time to do some meditation to wake up your mind? Maybe you could read a book, or maybe you could prepare a healthy breakfast for yourself. You see, there are so many other things that you could be doing that using your phone shouldn't even be on the list. Plus, it's not good for your eyes early in the morning. It's really all about prioritizing what is most important and getting that thing done first. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use your phone at all, because there are a lot of people who they communicate with their co-workers and they're running businesses, so they have to use their phone. All I'm suggesting is that you should get the more productive things done first rather than wasting that time. Then once you've completed those tasks, if you do have time afterwards, then you can check your phone. There's no problem at all. But keep it as brief as you can. I'm an advocate of not using your phone too much. By building these positive habits, you will gain a lot of confidence and momentum throughout the day, because you'll feel motivated and good about yourself. At the end of the day, you do want to structure your day so that you are getting things done, and in the process of doing so, you want to remove any clutter that is going to hinder your progress and also have a negative impact on your well-being. I want you to imagine what your typical day looks like. Write it down if you have to, because this way you can actually visualize it and then see what is causing you major distractions. I've done this before and I'm continuously looking to improve my days, because right now they're far from ideal. So once you've found out what is causing the major distractions, start by reducing the amount of time you spend on those activities or that particular habit. This might take a few weeks to do so because you're so used to doing it, so I would suggest giving yourself as much time as needed to adjust. Now, this is the difficult part. If you can, replace that habit with something else that piques your interest. This one might require a bit of soul searching, but once you do find something, then I would say put your efforts into getting better at that activity. Also, if you really don't like whatever you've chosen, then it's totally okay to ditch it and move on to something else. I would say keep going through this cycle until you find what resonates with you. The key thing here is that it has to be somewhat enjoyable, otherwise you will just drop off of it and then you'll just go back to your old ways of filling in the gap of time. I'm not gonna lie, I love to play games, because I've been growing up playing games and it's just been such a big part of my life, but it's a sad thing to say that I have actually wasted a lot of my time playing those games when I know I should have been doing something else. And I've often asked myself if I actually regret that, and absolutely I do. If I was much wiser when I was younger, then I know I would have been able to do something else with my time, whether that be indulging in more sports or just spending time with other people outside of school, but life moves on and it's important to learn from your mistakes. So what I've been trying to do recently is when I do play games, I try to reduce the amount of time I play the games, because what happens is when I play for too long, I get this nagging feeling at the back of my mind where I know I should be doing something else. It's like a feeling of guilt. It might be something that you may have noticed for yourself. So from someone who's experienced that, and maybe you've experienced it as well, if you absolutely cannot cut out the habit altogether, then at least keep it to a minimum so you have more time to focus on important things throughout the day. That way you still have the flexibility of enjoying some parts of your day without compromising your lifestyle too much. Remember, you want to make this as sustainable as possible and get to a stage where you're content with the structure of your days. So while you're spending your time on method 1 and restructuring your days, if you haven't already, I would urge you to start your journey of health and fitness. You will find that on this channel I refer to maintaining a healthy lifestyle and working out quite a bit because I can't emphasize enough how good it is for you. I've been working out for more than 7 years now, and I have personally experienced so many benefits from it and a sense of gratification. By no means am I an expert in this. I'm still a beginner in so many different areas, but and I have ways to go, but I am enjoying the process, which I think is the important thing. And you will find that there are many other people who have voiced their opinions on how working out has transformed their lives for the better too. Most things in life you'll realize that require a huge amount of effort tend to give the best return on investment, and that's exactly what fitness is like, I believe. And there are so many different ways on approaching a healthy lifestyle. It doesn't have to be a daunting experience at all. So what I would say is just have a good look at yourself in the mirror, and wherever you would like to make changes around your body, then just note it down and just start by taking action. If you're stuck and would like some advice, I can give you a recommendation on where to start. A quick disclaimer though, I am not a fitness or health professional and I don't hold any qualifications in these areas. This is just through my personal experience and what I believe to be a good start for you. Okay, so step 1, you need to find out more information about yourself, and I'm referring to some numbers here. So you need to know 2 things: your body mass index and your total daily energy expenditure. If you're wondering where you can find this information out, there is a website called TDEE Calculator, which I will link in the description below. All you need to do is plug in your numbers. Don't worry too much about the body fat percentage because it is not so easy finding that out. I mean, unless you know what your body fat percentage is, then great, it will be a bit more accurate. And that's another thing I wanted to say. The numbers aren't 100% accurate, so don't take them to heart. They're just a rough guideline for you to follow. Okay, so step 2, you want to install an app called MyFitnessPal. This is a free app that you can get, and it will basically tell you the amount of calories are in the foods that you eat. It even has a barcode so you can actually scan the item with your phone. It's quite intuitive. So what I would recommend you do is scan all the foods that you have in the day so that you have a rough idea of how many calories you're eating and the associated macronutrients, which is your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. Now for the next step, step 3, you need to compare the numbers that you got from the online calculator and from MyFitnessPal and see if there is a mismatch. There most likely will be, and you will most likely have to make healthier food choices, which is okay because everyone has to go through this. You need to find out what foods you like and dislike and find a way of meeting your caloric intake for the day, depending on your goal that is, because they are different, whether it's to build muscle, lose fat, or it's to maintain your shape. And then also remove any foods that are causing you to either feel sluggish or they just have unhealthy things in there that aren't good for your body. So basically you need to customize your diet. It will require a lot of time and research. Honestly, I completely understand that because I've had to go through this process so many times, but trust me when I say that it will pay off and you'll be in a much better place physically and mentally. There's no better investment than in your body. The final step, step 4, if you aren't working out already, then I would recommend that you start with at least some light movement. This can be as simple as doing a 15 to 20 minute walk every day if you do have a sedentary lifestyle. This will allow your body to adjust to some of the physical movement that you're doing and allow you to partition the foods that you are eating, because your body is smart enough to do that. And if you find that this is getting easier, that's a good sign because that means your body is making some progress. So then it might be either time to sign up for the gym or get some light weights for your home so that you can start doing basic body weight exercises, or if you would like some weights, to do some sit-ups, push-ups, even do some pull-ups or whatever else your body can handle. You'll be surprised at how much your body actually changes, and it will be such a good feeling and it will motivate you to keep going, and it will really help out with your confidence, just like it did for me. And who knows, you might even fall in love with the process as well. By the way, if you are liking the video and finding it helpful, then I'd appreciate it if you could like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way it will really help with the algorithm. Cheers. So we've tackled how to take care of our body, but what about our mind? That's where reading comes into play. Look, I understand that reading may be a bit boring to some of you, and I know it was for me. I wasn't a fan of it in the first place, and I hadn't read books in so many years. I thought it was such a nerdy thing to do, but honestly, when you grow older, you start to mature and your mind opens up to trying out different things. But I do want to share with you this book that I used to read when I was younger. It's called Beast Quest. I'm not sure if you may have heard of it, probably not, but anyhow, there used to be so many kids in school reading this in the library and also in the classroom, so I thought that there must have been some sort of hype around it. So the next time our family went to the shopping center, we went to a bookstore and I asked my parents if they could get me the first 3 books of the collection, and I was just so excited to start building up the collection and going home to read it. This is book 27, so I've got 27 of these books. You can see them back there, but anyhow, yeah, I just used to read these for so long, and they were a good read, but I'm not really into fictional books now, just because I'm at a different stage in my life, and I'm focusing more on self-improvement. However, a few months ago, after the long gap that I had of reading, I finally decided to pick it up again. So I decided to pick up this book and start reading it. It's called Atomic Habits. I'm sure many of you may have heard of this before, but if you haven't, it's a really great book for those of you who are struggling to build habits for yourself, replacing bad ones with good ones. And it also has systems that you can utilize, into your own life. And it also has examples of other people just to explain the concept of how certain habits were formed. This actually links to method 1 where I spoke about replacing good habits with bad ones also. So you could apply the lessons you learned from this book and start building good habits for yourself. So if you would like a copy of this book, I will leave a link to it in the description below, but if you would like a free online version, then I will leave a link to that also. Another thing about reading is that you're kind of learning from the author, their life mistakes and their experiences, what they've gone through. They've compiled it into the book, so you could gain an insight into what their thoughts and feelings are on different things and what their perceptions are on different matters, and you just gain a different perspective on different things, because there's not just one way in life to achieve something. There's many different things, and you could of course apply that into your own life. Some authors even reveal mistakes that they make, and that's a great opportunity for you to see what not to do in your life. This doesn't really apply much to fictional books, unless you're doing it for for educational purposes. Maybe, you have a coursework during that school where you have to, understand what the author is trying to say, or maybe you're studying at a university or even a PhD level, but that's a different matter. I won't delve too much into that. In some cases though, you could derive some inspiration from a character's journey in the fictional books, but again, it's only fictional, so it won't really apply to your life much. I'm talking mainly about self-improvement books and autobiographies of people, because they're good examples of how people got successful by going through certain difficulties and challenges, and that is just a great way for you to see how you could apply those concepts into your life as well. There's a saying that goes, a smart person is one that learns from their own mistakes, but a wise person is one that learns from the mistakes of others. You want to basically be both a smart and a wise person, so I would suggest that you read as many books as you can. Start with ones that interest you, and then start applying the lessons that you learn into your own life. And eventually, as long as you're consistent with this method, eventually you'll notice that you're developing the thoughts and habits of those people who are successful, and hopefully this will help you to achieve your own goals. Now, if you're someone like me and didn't like going to school that much, you might also dislike the idea of studying and learning. School really tainted my perception of this, and I guess that's why my grades were never that good. But when you learn something because you're passionate about it and you really enjoy it, it only makes sense that you can get better at that particular thing much easier. Also, it's a point to note that in life, you can only really grow as a person if you're continuously learning. If you stop for whatever reason, your mind will eventually wither away and you'll just become a closed-minded person. Another thing is that whether you realize it or not, your mind is actually learning quite often. It's just a different form of it. Imagine, if you're in a new environment with new people and it's a place you've never been before, your mind is gonna try and make connections to what it's been through in the past, and is going to try and adapt to that particular situation. Essentially, it is learning. It's subconscious, but you only really know that if you think about it. Anyhow, with this method, I want you to build a high income skill. If you notice nowadays, the way the job market is, it's actually quite difficult to find a job. It's not as easy as it used to be. I'm actually in the process of doing it myself. I've been through a few trials, so I can only tell you. And also, the salaries for the jobs out there, many of them, they're just not good enough. They're not high enough to make a living and survive. And you may have also noticed that the prices of things are going really high, and especially over the past year. I know it's happened after COVID, but especially over the past year, things have really been going expensive. And it's at a stage where you have to be doing something else outside of your day job to make more income. I mean, unless you're fortunate enough to have your bills paid for, your food paid for, your cost of living paid for, so that, you're in a position where you can save every single bit of penny that you earn. But for most of you, that might not even be the case. Making more money though, however, in this situation will only be more helpful. So my point, you might be asking, like, what is my point in saying this? Well, the reason I'm talking about this is that if you pick a high income skill and you become really good at it, you will actually become an authority of some sort in that particular niche that you decide to, pick your high income skill in, and people will pay you for your skills. Now, I don't want to make it sound so easy. I've just oversimplified that whole process, but in actuality, it is very difficult and it requires a tremendous amount of effort. But my point in saying it that is, you want to at least make a start. Don't be put off of that, just make a start, and as you continue to get better with it, you can then go on places like, you have Fiverr, you also have Upwork, and I'm sure there's many other places as well. You can post your gigs on those places and keeping the price low, of course, because you want to at least break into the market, keeping your price low and everything, and use that as an opportunity to gain more experience and just get better at that activity, that skill. Over time, then you can actually put those projects that you've done for other people, and put it as part of your portfolio. I would recommend at least have a website or something, whether it's a social media, you know, Instagram, Twitter, all those places. And because you need to have an online presence nowadays to compete with other people, and use those experiences and projects you've done, just put it on there, and other people will start to see that, you know, this person's done a lot of other things, and it will really, you know, put yourself out there. I personally haven't done this, however I am learning more about video editing because that's the high income skill that I you know, decided to get into. I've been enjoying it so far, and as I've been making, you know, my YouTube videos, that's just, I'm getting better at the craft of making these videos, and you know, as I continue to post more, so that's just what I decided to go down. But there are multiple options out there. Just pick the ones that, again, that you like, and seeing, you know, see which ones you can get better at. Also, once you establish yourself in that particular niche, consider, because at this stage, remember, you're doing it outside of your day job, consider if you want to keep it as a hobby or if you want to make that as your full-time job. And since it's from the back of something you enjoy, you can progress at it much better as well. So by taking opportunities that come your way, you'll build up a vast amount of experience which you can then translate into other areas of your life. Don't feel that an experience that you've gained in one particular area can't be translated into others, because that's exactly how progress is made. Whatever you learn in one particular aspect in life, you can definitely, you know, transition it into another, and it might even help you to become better at that other aspect in life. You know, it's just about making connections and just seeing wherever you can get help to get better at, you know, other areas in your life. Furthermore, it helps open more doors in your journey, and some of which you never really would have imagined you would be in. The idea though is you want to get out of your comfort zone and just expose yourself to the world, because I know everyone wants to, you know, experience that, but if you stay in your comfort zone, you're just not going to be able to pick up so many opportunities, and you'll miss out on a lot of them. So just do whatever you can, you know, whatever's in your means, to just go out and put yourself out there in the world, and it will really help you. Just take it slow. Again, you don't have to go full-blooded, just take it slow, and as you continue to get more comfortable with the idea of getting out of your comfort zone, then, you know, you can start to expand it a bit more if you would like. So another thing about this whole topic is that you want to focus on the things that are in your control, and whatever is not, then don't pay too much attention to it. You're only responsible for the effort that you put into a particular thing and not the outcome. So at this point, you should have a better understanding of how incorporating all of these methods will help you to become a better version of yourself. These are what I believe to be a good start for you, and also these are things that I am actively incorporating into my own life. So take these and apply them in any order that you wish, and just fit it around your lifestyle. Also, comment down below, because I'd like to know, you know, what your thoughts are on these particular things. You know, what's causing you major distractions, and if they weren't there, then how would you be able to achieve your goals, and what goals are you looking to achieve in your life? Now, when you are attempting to change your routine, I don't want you to feel bad about yourself, because we're all trying our best, and we are going to make mistakes along the way. It's human nature, so I don't want you to feel upset about any of those things. I can't even begin to describe the amount of mistakes I've made in my life, so many of which I regret, and I don't think I've ever met anyone that has made so many mistakes in their life and they don't regret the mistakes that they've made. And my point in saying this is that, you know, as long as you're learning from your mistakes, that's the best you can do. Just try not to repeat them, and look for any opportunities in your life to better yourself as a person. Keep going and don't give up on pursuing your dreams. Absolutely, things will get difficult, but only at those points you will really be tested to see whether or not you want it bad enough. Show the world what you got, and I know you can overcome those challenges because you're a strong person. Believe in yourself and you got this, okay?